Everything feels wrong for Remy Ma, and really, she is having trouble with it. She is going through a terrible, humiliating breakup after years of being the untouchable rap queen. And who is to blame? The man who had held her down for years, Papoose, was there. The man who used to be her pillar of support is now breaking her. The odd thing is that Papoose didn't simply keep going. He's enjoying life to the fullest and showing off his newfound international connections. What about Remy? She's pleading, not just unhappy. Once vowing never to approach a man, the lady is now begging for another opportunity. What about desperation? It's showing, I see. Let's face it, Remy is quite humiliated about the whole thing. She was out here pretending to have everything figured out only a few months ago. It was she who treated Papoose like a disposable object and disparaged him. And now, the opposite is true, Hardy, because Papoose was leveling up and she was busy teasing someone else. He had no intention of waiting for her return. No, he was faithful in another location. And she wants him back now that the harm has been done. No, that is not how it operates. They initially believed she would handle the loss well. She may temporarily withdraw, concentrate on her work, and go into hiding. But no, she is trying to obtain another chance with Papoose by calling, messaging, and even approaching others in his social circle. And if you believe this to be a modest, innocuous attempt at reconciliation, rethink your thought. Remy never goes anywhere, and times of desperation, that is, they call for drastic actions. She has been hitting up Papoose at all hours, sending lengthy, heartfelt texts, and essentially spilling her heart out, according to a lot of people. How would things have turned out if this had happened a few years earlier? Papoose most likely would have given in. Now, though, he isn't even answering. Things get even more tricky now that Papoose's new girlfriend isn't interested in the drama. To let Remy know that she has no place in this new chapter, she is on her toes. And truthfully, it must hurt. Imagine, like Remy Ma, being well-known, successful, and respected, yet still being treated like just another ex. It stings to be rejected like that. The real question, though, is how things got so terrible. How did Remy wind up all alone after having a man who would do anything for her? Let's go back in time. We must discuss how things started in order to see why Papoose is done with her. Do you recall the initial accusations against Remy for cheating on Papoose? They didn't want to believe it at first. Papoose was the epitome of a devoted husband. He put his wife first, rode for her, and constantly complimented her. Why, therefore, would she ever treat him that way? The evidence then began to emerge. Individuals were connecting. It was rumors, but all of a sudden there was more. Facts were in play here. What about Papoose? He was devastated. However, he had no intention of dying a miserable death. He waited rather than causing a massive public uproar. Silently, he moved. At what time did he prepare? He took action. As we go into the present, he is arriving. He has a new partner, his perspective has evolved, and most significantly, he now respects himself more. However, Remy, she's falling behind. You don't know Remy Ma if you believe she will give up. After all, what will she do next? Yes, that will intensify the strangeness even further. And just when you thought there was nothing more to botch up, something went wrong. Remy Ma takes everything to the next level. A woman like Remy, you see, she doesn't give up easily. No, both literally and figuratively, she is a fighter. And now, as though her life depended on it, she is battling for Papoose. Rumor has it that she has been using every tactic available to her to bolster her case, including reaching out to Papoose's family, leaving heartfelt, lengthy phone calls, and seeking to arrange random meetings. What's the worst? It isn't functioning. Papoose's fault. The man who would have sacrificed all for her has changed. No, since he is the backup, he is done. She no longer turns to him when everything else fails. What's truly burning for Remy, you know? Papoose's happiness in public while she was abroad. She sees him grinning, doing well and showing off his new relationship every time she opens her phone. Seeing the man you took for granted continue on as if you never existed is, let's face it, the worst thing in the world. In reality, Remy is going through more than a personal breakdown. No, she's also allowing this circumstance to influence her public image. According to insiders, Papoose lost it all last week when someone at a private function mentioned her new girlfriend. In a matter of seconds, according to witnesses, she became enraged and snapped at everyone who even brought up the subject. And if you believe that to be bad, what she did next was far worse than that. According to sources, Remy attempted to create a commotion by disparaging his new relationship in a mysterious social media post in an attempt to get Papoose's attention. Let's be honest, everyone understood precisely who she was referring to, even if she didn't name them. But rather than receiving the response she desired, Papoose struck her in silence. No answer, no recognition, nothing. And perhaps that hurt more than anything else. The problem is that Remy was accustomed to Papoose's constant presence. He was always there and prepared to put things right, regardless of what she did or how many times she embarrassed him. However, this time, it's not the same. And you know what's crazy also? Papoose's new partner isn't keeping a close eye on this whole thing. Oh no, she is positive Remy knows what she does. By refusing to back down, she has reportedly demonstrated that she is not afraid of Remy Ma, and that the situation is getting worse because of that. Since Remy isn't used to being ignored, let's face it, Papoose is not accustomed to being viewed as an outsider in her life. And now that she realizes she can't control the story anymore, she's going crazy. But I promise you, this is only the beginning. Why do you believe Remy won't talk about this loss? Rethink your thought. As she does something so absurd and desperate, everyone will have to talk. What follows? You won't believe it. I assure you. Just when you thought Remy Ma was at her lowest, she tells us all how wrong we were. Because of this woman, she is unwilling to let go. Remy thought it was time to take drastic measures after being totally ignored by Papoose, witnessing him show off his delight with his new partner, and recognizing that her typical strategies were no longer effective. What do I mean when I say desperate? Desperate, I mean. How does Papoose respond to the claims that Remy is now attempting to destroy her new relationship? It's not quite as disorganized as that. In an attempt to learn more about his new lover, Remy seems to have been contacting Papoose's friends. She has been following mutual connections, contacting former pals, and essentially doing everything in her power to uncover something that could end their relationship. However, according to sources, she was unable to locate any actual soil, which is where the strangeness begins. So she made an effort to make some. Yes, you heard me correctly, yes. According to insiders, Remy has been making up stories to give the impression that Papoose's new girlfriend isn't as dedicated as she appears to be. Furthermore, you are aware that it can be difficult to stop rumors from spreading on social media once they have begun. What do you know, though? This time, Papoose and his new girlfriend didn't trust any of it, which is why it didn't work. She was able to see through it. She refused to fall for the ruse and made it clear that she would not be coming. And that, Remy spiraled even farther as a result. She has been injured, but now she is also embarrassed. What could be worse, let's face it, than pleading with a man to return and having him ignore you entirely? What could be more annoying than trying every trick in the book and finding that none of them work? And if you believe that she could handle this, yes, you are unaware of Remy Ma's identity. Because right now, she is changing the course of events. She is attempting to play the victim because she isn't getting the attention she wants from Papoose, and her attempts to destroy his new relationship aren't succeeding. It appears that she was the one who was duped because of the subliminal messages she was delivering. People forget who was really there for them, and loyalty isn't appreciated until it's gone, according to her cryptic posts. Sister, instead, let's not do this. Because it was you who disregarded your marriage, knowing that Papoose would always be there to welcome you, did you not go? You want to weep over loyalty now. Make sense of it. But now that Papoose is leveling up and Remy is out here doing everything he can, things take a far more serious turn. In his new partnership, he's not only content but flourishing. We're discussing new music endeavors, brand collaborations, business contracts, and everything else. What is the best feature? None of this has anything to do with Remy. The main thing that is making her nuts is that, because she probably had expected Papoose to suffer without her, that he would return after realizing he needed her when times were tough. Rather, he is doing well. When you become the best version of yourself, sans your toxic ex, that's the one thing they can't stand. Remy is now compelled to observe as the man she originally thought was hers grows up, goes on, and starts a new life with someone who genuinely loves him. And what do you know? That is exactly what she is entitled to. Because ultimately, who treated you properly is more important than who was in a romantic relationship for the longest. What about Papoose? At last, he discovered someone who does. Despite Remy's ongoing decline and her constant self-loathing in an attempt to win him back, Papoose has formally departed the building. That's it, folks. Remy is currently suffering the price for cheating on herself. She believed there would be no repercussions for her deceit, disdain, and humiliation of Papoose. In any case, she believed that he would always be there, poised to forgive her. Now, though, it is she who is pleading. It is she who is going into a downward spiral, losing sleep, fretting, and regretting every decision that has brought her to this end. What about Papoose? He's winning. When you take a kind person for granted, this is what occurs. For what reason? They are aware of their worth. They walk away without turning around. So, what are your thoughts? Does Remy genuinely feel bad about losing the game she believed she was playing, or is she merely upset about it? Should Papoose give her another chance, in your opinion? Or has he at last found serenity after avoiding a gunshot? Please share your ideas in the comments section. I would be delighted to hear them. The tea will only get hotter from here, so be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications if you want more surprising celebrity drama. Stay dirty and have fun, and I'll see you all at the next one. Until then.